Alright, hello everybody. Sendrith Rezur here on P99 Blue. Now today I'm just doing a quick tutorial video on how to grind up your faction for going down to the hole. Here I am in the Warrens, which is just off of Paineel, near the hole. And this is where you come to quickly grind up enough faction to be able to get the key to get into the Paineel city, which allows you to get the key to open the underwater rock, which lets you into the hole, which is a great place for enchanter cleric duos, for groups. It's just a hot spot. Now, there's a special trick with farming faction in here, which is why I'm even bothering to make this video. Now, if you see, these kobolds, they are KOS to me, but I'm too high, so they won't touch me. However, the moment I sit down, they will. At first, when I came down here, I was running around finding packs of them and sitting in the middle of them. The problem with that is, if you notice, if you see my damage in the bottom right-hand corner, when you sit, they actually land hits that are a decent amount, and those build up, and they require heals. And you can only aggro, what, maybe 3 or 4 per sit? So it's hard to get a nice, decent-sized group. And we want to get as big a group as we can, since we have these area effect word line spells that hurt a ton of mobs at once. I don't even know if there's a limit. I think there might be, but as you will soon see, we're not really even hitting it. But I was down here grinding faction, going around getting packs of maybe 10 to 20, sitting down a few times, and slowly grinding my way through the zone, and I grouped up with somebody who told me a little trick that I want to share with you. Now, there's a way that we can pass this sitting aggro to a mob. What we do is we run, what I did is I bound myself right here at the entrance. Now, the reason for this is I want somewhere I can sit safely, and the entrance is that spot. And everywhere else has got these patrols running around, but if I'm right here in the entrance, I can sit safely without having to worry about getting ambushed. And I will explain why we need to be able to sit safely later. So look at all these kobolds here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make one kobold run back to me, and my sitting aggro will extend to him. So everywhere he runs, the radius of sitting aggro will take effect. And you can see there's quite a lot of kobolds we're going to get here. And I will explain how that works. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go as deep as I can all the way over here. This is the prince spawn here in the Warrens. He's not up at the moment. Somebody's farming prince and king, but that's okay. That's not what I'm after. I pick the mob that's going to aggro the most mobs on the run back, and then I root them. Like so. Now, since I'm bound at the entrance, I can simply gate back to my spot here. Now, I have to remain standing at first. And what I'm going to do is this, I'm looking for that your root has worn off yellow message in my middle chat box here. As soon as I see that, I sit down. Because as soon as that root wears off, that mob I rooted is going to run to me. While I'm standing, he's just going to run by himself. The other mobs aren't going to aggro. Because it's just like if I were running by, they wouldn't aggro me because I'm too high a level. But when I'm sitting, he will aggro them. Because it would be just like I were sitting in that spot. So as soon as that root wears off, if I want to get the max number of mobs possible, I've got to sit down. There it is. Your root spell has worn off and I sit down, just like that. Alright. Now he's running and everything on the way is coming with him. So get us a nice big group, and you'll see how quickly we wipe him out. Respawns down here are quick too. So grinding the whole faction is quick and easy with this root pull method. Once they get to me, I'm going to go put my back against a wall just to prevent interrupts. And then I'm going to nuke them all. I'm going to nuke them all. There we go. Look at that. Look at that big old train of mobs. There's still more coming. Way more efficient method. Right? Okay, let's get them. Boom. Still got some survivors. Looks like some of these guys weren't even hurt. So I have a few different word spells memmed for a couple of reasons. One, well, mainly because of cooldown, so that way I don't have to wait for the cooldown. And I also got one nuke left, just in case at the end, like this, you got just one sticky mob. Usually I will beat them down. But if he's a higher level one, I might just want to use a quick smite to nuke him out. And you see with each one of those kills, I'm getting faction. I think it's only 1 point, but when you're getting that many kills each time, you know, that's nothing to complain about. Boom. And that's how you do it. You can pull from the prince. You can pull from down over here. I went all the way down there and I tried a king pull before, but the mobs never came. And I think it has something to do with this river here. I think they just couldn't cross the river, or it had something to do with the distance, because it was a really long pull. I would have got a ton of mobs, but they didn't come. So either it was too far, or the river somehow prevented them from coming. But I went back over there and I didn't have any aggro, which was interesting. So if you see, if I go down this passageway with a couple of surprising exceptions, they should have come as well. I've got most of the mobs to chase me. Yeah, see, like, I don't know why this guy didn't come, but there's a few leftovers, but there's that. Now I could go back to the king direction. The next best pull while I'm waiting for those to respawn is inside this doorway here. I go in as deep as I can. And I root the mob that I think has the best chance of running by the most enemies. Gate back. And I'm just going to do this twice to make sure it's clear. There's a couple little things. You cannot sit now. You have to be standing until the root wears off. Maybe you can sit and then stand up again. It's not like it's going to ruin it, but you don't want to be sitting when the root wears off. I think that's the mechanic we're looking for. And then once the root wears off, then sit as fast as you can and wait until you get hit. That's the strategy. It's actually fairly simple, but this is the best, fastest way to grind Paineel faction so that you can get your key for Paineel City and the key to the hole. Now this is useful for us for two reasons. First off, I think at a rather early level, somewhere possibly even in the 30s, there I gotta sit, 30s, 40s probably actually, you can make some good money going to Paineel and killing the guards. You get your faction up so you can get in, and someone has told me, I haven't actually done it, but someone has told me that killing the skeleton guards there doesn't hurt the faction for some reason. You can go to the city, kill the skeletal guards, and not lose faction. So you can just keep farming those guards. They got swords and shields that sell nicely is what I hear. So one of the best ways to make money, and if you do it at the right level, apparently you could probably make some decent experience as well. See, there we go, a nice big train. Not that big this time. I must have... Oh, there they are. They're just a little bit of a delay on it. Okay. Sometimes I get some bigger trains, sometimes smaller. The Prince pole is pretty good. If I can figure out how to get that King pole to work out, that would be a couple times bigger than the Prince pole. See, I didn't put my back against the wall. I got interrupted. It happens, but not so often. So the back against the wall is not entirely necessary. Alright, still got some high-level guys here. Let me hit them with another area nuke. There's enough of them to make it worth it. There we go. And just like that, farming faction. And as you can see, we're already getting respawns on the way to Prince. Not quite, but they're going to pop any second now. Any second, you're going to start to see pops in this hallway. The respawns are quick down here. And so, you know, you met up a little bit, and by the time you're done meting, they're back. If you do at least 2 different pull paths. And you're just grinding factions so fast that way. Alright guys, a couple of things I want to say. Somebody had commented on one of my videos, why aren't you using root? I told them, well, immobilize seems to last better through the nukes. I went ahead and tested that to make sure, and they are right. I was wrong. There's no reason to use immobilize unless you want the extended time duration. It seems like the probability of a direct damage nuke breaking the root is the same. I was using just a normal straight root, landing a few nukes on some frost giant elites in the Great Divide, and it wasn't breaking. So it seems about the same. So you might as well just use root and save yourself the mana. Definitely. Thank you for that advice. And I feel like I had tested it and felt like root was breaking, but it might have just been bad random number generation at that time. So thank you for that. That's going to save me mana, making soloing that much more viable. And I recorded a Velk's Upper Dog video, but I made a mistake. I had, with my OBS recording, I had it recording both EverQuest and my display, and I think that double recording of the same image was causing it to result in like 1 frame every 5 seconds. So I had to delete the whole video, which is unfortunate because it was kind of an exciting one. But the next plan is lower spiders, enchanter cleric duo, the hole, and eventually plane of mischief. All right, you guys. Thanks for checking in. Have a good day. See you next time. Live and love.